All right, let's get started, everybody. It is 6:31, and I'll try to get you guys out on time by 8:30. I know for a lot of you guys haven't sat for like a 2-hour class for a long time. So I'll try to make it fun. I'll try to make it interactive. And one thing I always ask is, please, if there's something that you do not know, please ask. That's the beauty of taking an actual live course. Compared to if you do it online, if you don't know something, it's very hard for you to find out, right? The live cast, the benefit is you don't know something, you ask. And the funny thing is, there might be another student that is curious about the same thing. Another thing, I do talk fast. I'll try to slow it down. I just love real estate. I'm very excited and passionate when I talk about real estate. So I do go quick sometimes because there is a lot to cover. But if you want me to go over something, again, just say, hey, Vince, can you repeat that? Because I didn't get it. Okay. Let me do a slideshow so you guys can see. All right, let's get started. So first off, if you guys don't know me, my name is Vince Track. I am a real estate broker. I've been doing real estate 15 years now, since 2007. If you guys know what happened at that time, that was the worst time to get into real estate. It was when all the real estate was tanking. A lot of people were losing their homes, and even if you wanted to buy, you couldn't. Lenders weren't lending at that time, and it was a dark time for a lot of people. I know personally a ton of people that lost a lot of money and a lot of houses. My brother-in-law lost a few houses. I lost a lot of money investing in properties as well. And I know a lot of people know someone or experienced it themselves. Well, that's when I jumped in, which is, again, one of the worst times. But I am so glad I stuck with it. So for many of you guys, you might be in the same situation as how I was. I worked at Toyota. I was selling cars at that time, but I hated it. I wanted to find another career that I'm passionate about and happy that I didn't have to devote all my time, because I don't know if you guys know about car dealerships, but when it's a holiday, we will work that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I would work bell to bell, meaning 12 hours each day. So in those 4 days, I would probably work 48 hours already, which is crazy, right? And a lot of times my friends, they throw a party or a barbecue for 4th of July. I can't make it. My family says, hey, we have this family trip. I can't make it. So I hated my career at that time. So I don't know if some of you guys don't like your career and want to find a new career. This is a perfect career, but it also is a great side hustle. What I mean by that is I do have engineers, I do have other business owners that they just want to get in real estate because they want to invest themselves. So when they buy, they get a discount because they get money for it. And when they sell, they don't have to pay agent for it. That's perfectly fine. I pride myself with our office that we welcome newer agents and part-time agents. So if that's something that you're looking for, that's something that we really offer and can help you guys out with. Okay. But yeah, so back to my story. I hated Toyota. I saw my sister. So my sister was in real estate for about 15, 20 years now. And I saw one of her checks. She closed a deal that's $50,000, one house in San Francisco. She double-ended it. And I was like, man, it takes me like 6 months or 6-7 months to make that type of money. She did in one deal. So I think I'm selling the wrong thing. I don't want to sell cars anymore. I want to sell houses. So I don't know how you guys feel. It is a lot of money, but I want to be realistic as well. Because yes, there's a lot of glamour. A lot of agents make a lot of money, but there's a ton of agents that don't also. But my goal is to help you guys and give you guys all the support, all the training, so you guys can succeed, right? The only other thing is up to you of how hard you guys want to work. It is a business. So you guys know that most businesses fail. So you want to open a restaurant or a tech company or whatever it is, a lot of people do fail in business. And it's because people aren't taught it in school. They're teaching you guys how to be employees, right? Listen to what I say, follow directions. But as your own business, you're your own boss. I would never go, why aren't you here at the office working? I would never say, hey, we have any quotas that go, well, why are you selling houses? The harder you work, the more money you make. If you don't want to work, no one's going to stop you. And that was the problem with a lot of people in business. They don't have a boss telling them they have to go work, and they end up not working. And that was kind of the problem with me. So I got into real estate at that time. I didn't do very well in the beginning. I actually did really bad. I didn't sell anything for 7 or 8 months. I jumped in full time. I don't recommend you guys doing that. especially if you have bills. Back then, when I first started, I was only 23. I didn't have a lot of bills. So fast forward a few years, it was great time to invest in real estate. So in 2009, 10, 11, 12 to maybe 2014, 15, I was flipping a lot of real estate, and I was doing very good. Every time I bought property with my parents and my uncle, we made money. And then when I sold it, I had a listing. I made money, and I made, of course, my family a lot of money. And then because I was doing that, a lot of friends and family says, hey, they want to jump in also. So if you guys want to learn about flipping, finding good deal, wholesaling, buy and hold, I own several rental properties now. I can teach you guys all that also. Okay. But that's my story, and that's the reason why I got into real estate. But one big benefit that I never really looked at, because I was always into the money. I always say, don't do this because of money, because if you are doing it because of money, when things get tough, a lot of people quit. And when things, when people do things for money but they don't enjoy it, people will quit. I'm glad that I love sales. I did sales all my life. I'm glad I love real estate. So if you like watching like Flip This House, or you like those TGI, HGTV stuff, then you're in the right place, right? You like looking at houses and open houses, you're in the right place, right? But yeah, so hopefully you guys love what you do, because that way you take care of your clients better because you're passionate about it, right? So that's the only thing I wanted to let you guys know is it's a great industry. It's a very rewarding industry, but it's also very tough. Okay. Again, I want to be reality right here. In the very beginning, you have to work a lot, but if you do it right, I'll teach you guys how to build a team. Like me, I'll show you. You can see my photo right now on there. That's just part of my team. That's an old photo. That's before COVID. Now that we actually grew since COVID, and I have about 30 to 40 agents. And I actually just went on a trip. And while on the trip, I was on a cruise. We closed 2 or 3 deals. And for a lot of people, when they go on a vacation, they spend all the money. They come back like, oh, I got to eat a couple of noodles for a few weeks, right? But if you know how to do your business right, you can close deals while you're in vacation. You have a team. I'll teach you how to build a team and build passive income with real estate that hopefully I could help you guys have financial freedom. And that's where I believe real estate is strongest. It's not making a lot of money, but it's being able to have that time. When I had my second child, I took a good few months off and took care of my child, and I was able to do that with real estate. I could have showings, have a partner go show it while I could spend time with my kids. So if that's something that you're passionate about, again, this is a great license to have. Okay. But yes, so I'm a real estate broker now. Our office is in Milpitas, but we do have other offices in San Francisco, satellite office, and we have one in Elk Grove that you can use as well. But anything that you need, just contact me, because I'll be your direct manager. Here's my email and my cell phone, so contact me anytime. For me, I have a commitment to you guys, because I don't want you. I'm not just a school, because there's a lot of schools out there that you could take, but they're not brokerages, so they don't care if you pass or not. For me, I'm hoping I help you guys get your license, but I hope you guys join my company also. Okay. So we are active practicing broker, which is a big benefit to you guys, because I know what the market is going right now. I'm still closing deals myself, right? And my team. One big thing I really care about, and you're going to see when I talk about this whole class, is I look for the elite agent. I look for agents that are going to take care of their clients. I really emphasize that. I don't just want to hire agents just to hire agents. Even if you're a good salesperson and going to make a lot of money, but if you're unethical or you just take advantage of people, I'd rather not hire those type of agents. So that's one thing I ask. If you do work with us, to be a good agent, not just a great agent, but be ethical. And the reason why is it's a very small world. If you don't take care of your clients and they badmouth you, they don't just badmouth you, they badmouth the company as well. And also as a broker, you're going to see anything that agent does wrong, the broker also gets in trouble. So that's another reason why I really, really want good, solid agents. Okay. But yeah, contact me anytime. My commitment is to help you guys pass your license and hopefully work for us. And it's okay if you don't work for us. I do have an incentive for you guys, but I want you guys to go and check out other brokerages as well. And you're going to see we actually shine on a lot of things. We actually pay higher than a lot of other brokers, but we do a lot more support for especially newer agents. And that's the most important. It's not how much you get paid, it's how much you support you get in the beginning. Okay. We do have some class rules. Please try to arrive 5-10 minutes early. I saw a whole bunch of you guys online early, so thank you guys for that. I do want to start on time so I could get you guys out on time, because I know, we all have lives and you want to go to your family. So yes, please come on time if you can. Put your cell phone on silent, and that just reminds me I have to do mines. I do get calls all the time, so I will do that. Okay. And if you guys have to take a important call, no problem. Just put, step outside and then take your phone call outside. All right. There will be no grades, so you guys should be happy, right? A lot of times you go, oh no, if I fail, what if I fail? None of my students ever fail. Yes. Yep.
Hi, what time?
11 a.m. but like be at the gym at 11
a.m. 24 or 19?
I'm sorry?
I feel 24.
I'm not sure if it's my internet, but it's kind of cracking up. Anybody else here? Is it my internet, or if not, just put on chat. Put the question on chat, and I can read it. Because
I don't think it was a question. I think somebody's went unmuted and was having a conversation in the background or something. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So I asked if you guys can mute yourself if it's not if you're not asking a question, and unmute yourself if you guys want to talk. Thank you. Thank you for that. But yeah, so you're not going to get a grade. You have 3 certificates that you have to pass, but I help you guys out with that, so you don't have to worry. All my students will pass the class and get your certificates. I guarantee it. You have 1 year to take all your certificates. So for those that did sign up already, your clock already started, and you can take your certificate classes every 2.5 weeks. Just FYI. Okay. Please ask questions. Again, I would like to not be it a college lecture. I don't want to just be me talking. I want to get you guys to kind of be interactive, and that way you guys keep awake. Again, I give a lot of stories, and I also emphasize on things I know it's going to be on a test, and I repeat a lot of hard to understand concepts, because I know if I talk to you and tell you the definition of a sheet or fee simple estates, it's not going to go into your head. But if I repeat it over and over, or I do pop quizzes and I ask you guys, and you guys have to answer to me, that you guys understand it more and will internally remember it better. Okay, so that's the benefit again with taking a class like this as well. And I taught this class, oh man, good 6 years now. So I know what is on test and what not, right? A lot of my students do pass on the first try if you guys study. And you're gonna see I give you guys so much study material. You will pass if you study everything. Let's put it that way. Okay. The ones that don't pass is because they didn't study at all. Okay. So, but most importantly, I want you guys to have fun learning. I make this again very interesting type of class. It's a very great and rewarding industry. I don't know any other business or industry that you can invest $600 for a class, another $305 to get your license and the exams. So you're in at about $900. And when you do start your real estate business, it's another maybe $2,000 of startup. That's getting your MLS, getting all your contracts, getting your marketing material, like your business cards ready. So $3,000 all in the business. My friend just opened up a restaurant. It cost him $450,000. Okay. Even most business you do, you're gonna have to invest a lot. But for him to recoup all his money as a restaurant, it's gonna take him a long time. Sometimes a few years. In real estate, is the only industry I know you do your first deal, which you are selling the real estate in the best area. Silicon Valley, everybody wants to live here, right? Even though people say, oh, it's expensive. People say, taxes are high in California and all that stuff. There's still a ton of people that want to buy here, right? And your average commission here, $1.4 million house, 2.5 commission, you do the math. It's at least $35,000, $40,000 commission per house. Even if you sell a beginner starter condo in Milpitas, it's right now about $600,000, $700,000, you're still making $15,000, $20,000. So for a $3,000 investment in a business, as long as you close one deal for your next 4 years, you're in the positive. So to me, I think it's a no-brainer to get into real estate. And also it's one of the, it is not even one of, it is industry that create the most millionaires. I did my research before because I want to make a lot of money, right? Like everybody does. But I always looked at what industry is the proven, right? What is gonna last long, right? So a lot of people make money in crypto, but we don't know how long that lasts. Real estate, I tell you now, it's gonna last forever. It's from the beginning of time, people need a shelter. From now on to the end of time, we're gonna need somewhere to live. So that's why I want an industry that I know is gonna be solid, that I can make a lot of money, and that's why I chose real estate. So hopefully that it motivates you guys a little bit more. Okay. Here's the class schedule. It's 8-week course. That's by bare minimum state law. It has to be 7.5 weeks. So I made 8 weeks course. You're gonna have 2 hours each day, so it's gonna be 6:30, 8:30. We're gonna take we're gonna start going through the slides normally. At 7:30, we take a short 5-minute break just in case you guys need to get water, bathroom. Oh, by the way, I have coffee and tea in front, and then there's a fridge right there. There's soda and beer and everything. So I stock up my office for you guys. Okay. Then we'll have a quiz. So you guys have to pay attention. Okay. There's no slacking off here. We will do a quiz at the very end of the day. And that's just again to refresh your memory and just to kind of help you retain the information. All right. And I'll assign the reading materials for the week if you want to read. Some people do, and it does help, but I feel that the test books are really boring. They do give you a lot of information that you do not need. I catered this class to get all the important information, all the stuff that I believe you might get tested on. Okay. And we're gonna go over what the test consists of for your state licensing. All right. Remember, there's no grades, so just focus and have fun. Okay. Here's some requirements. I do have to go over requirements first. Number 1, you have to be 18 years or older. So, make sure you guys are 18 years or older when you do pass the state exam. So people that are 17 and a half can take this license or take this class. It's just that when they get the license, they have to be 18. You have to be proof of residence, right? So you have to live in the area that you're going to sell at. And this is the most important, it's honesty. And what they mean by honesty is applicants must be honest and truthful, and they cannot get convicted of a lot of the crimes that deal with money, theft, and such. Okay, so I actually have a list of everything that is possible denial. So these are most common ones. However, I have gotten students that have some minor things passed before. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll need a letter of recommendation. Hopefully it's not something that's recent. If it's something like that's a long time ago. So the situation I had is he was a minor. He was, I think, 17 when this happened. He was convicted of sale of narcotics, and he had to disclose all this on his application. He had to go in front of the commissioner and write and plead his case. He had to write a letter of explanation, and he had a few people give a recommendation, which I wrote a nice letter for him, and he was able to get his license. So if you guys do have a case, please send me a message, talk to me. If you guys call the number and say, I checked with them and they says I'm automatic denial, I'll give you full refund. I'm not here to take you guys the money. And even this class, if this first day you say, hey, this is not what I expected, I'm not here to make money off this class. And you're gonna see when you guys pass this license and you do join our brokerage, I give your money back anyway. So this class is free for my agents. The reason why I have to charge up front, in case you go and take my class and then join another brokerage, which I'm totally fine with also. Okay, especially if you have a relative or friend in another company, more power to you guys, right? All right. So let's move on. What will you get from this course? Our main objective is just to help you pass the state exam. Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys the sad truth. 90% of stuff you're gonna learn on this class, you will not use in real life. Okay. So it's almost like you guys went to high school and college, you learn algebra, trigonometry, some learn calculus. We don't use any of that in real life. We use add, subtract, divide, multiply. Same for this. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that in here that it's just theory. But I will tell you what is good for business, because I'll throw things in like that to make things interesting. And I'll tell you what's going to be on test. And that's kind of what our main focus is on. We focus entirely on principles. So if you guys have the syllabus, I'll send it to you guys if you don't have it. It'll tell you guys, if you see the first 5 weeks, all on principles, because that's all you can get tested on. Okay. It has a little finance in there. It has a little practice in there as well. At the end of the course, you get all 3 mandatory certificates. So on 5th week, I will go over the practice test, the principles test. That's the most important one. And then the last 2 weeks, we're going to have you do the practice and finance. And I give you guys a little secret. I help you guys with that test anyways, because you're not going to get tested on that on the state exam. So why focus on trying to learn that? Because you're just going to get a lot of information that you don't need. Okay. My goal again is for you guys to get your license so you can practice real estate. Okay. And our partner school is First Tuesday. So for those that paid and signed up, please let me know if you got your First Tuesday account. If you didn't, let me know and I'll send it to you guys again. Okay. Very important. I'll also help again. We want to help you A to Z. All your applications, I'll help you guys with that. The paperwork, the registration, everything. We're gonna go over that at the end of the class, how to do a fingerprint. And if you guys need me to, send me your application. I'll take a look at it just to make sure you filled it out correctly. Okay. Again, I am committed to help you guys out. Here's a breakdown of the test. Okay. So what are you gonna get tested on? Property and ownership, use controls, agency law, valuation and market analysis. We'll talk about that. Finance. Again, finance is only 9%, not a lot. Transfer of property, 8%. Real estate practice and disclosure, that's the biggest. That's a quarter of the test. So we focus a lot on that. And then contracts. Knowing contracts is 12%. So your test is going to be based on all of this. Guess what? I actually have a study program that breaks down all these questions for you guys. And it's question answers that if you do it, you can learn a lot, because it'll tell you not just what the answer is, but why the answer is. So it's a great study material, great study course. And you guys are free. You all are free to share your contact information at the end of a class and even create study groups. I actually had a few students do that, and it's amazing. The ones that do the study groups, they all passed. Okay. So I highly recommend doing that. All right. So where do you take your tests? It's the closest one is in Oakland. Unfortunately, a lot of people are scared of Oakland. It's in a safe area. It's in downtown Oakland. You do have to go through. There's parking right across the street. It's kind of expensive, but hey, park all day. You go through the government building. They do have metal detectors. So please don't bring anything like a knife or stuff, because I carry a knife with me everywhere. Put all that away, right? Even in the exam, you cannot bring water bottle in. They won't even let you bring a watch or your cell phone in, because a lot of people have like those smart watches now, right? They make sure you can't cheat. Okay, so the test is 150 questions. They give you 3 hours and 15 minutes, which is a lot of time. Most people I see people get out in like 1 hour and 45 minutes. Like the first person to take the test to get out is around there. I took about 2 hours. So they do give you a lot of time. The program I give you has a simulation of the state exam. It'll give you 150 questions and it'll time you, so you know how much time you take. So if you do take 3 hours, learn how to read faster, or don't take too long on a question. The great thing about it is it's all computerized, so you can skip questions that you don't know and go back to it at the end. Okay. You only need 70% to pass. So that's a C. That's a C minus, right? So you can get up to 45 questions wrong out of 150. So you just need 105 questions right. Okay. Hopefully you can pass. Again, you cannot bring anything into the test room. Okay. A big, I feel so bad for this student. He told me when he finished the class and he was getting his stuff, and when he went to his pocket, put his wallet in, a piece of gum wrapper fell out. They canceled that test. They voided that test that he just took. This has happened like 3-4 months ago, and I didn't even know that. So if you get caught, we'll bring anything in. And he showed there's nothing on the wrapper. I felt so bad, and he just told me this. I was like, wow, I gotta share this on my next class. So please make sure do not bring anything, because they will void that test and not give you a score. Okay, they're very strict on this. And it's proctored, meaning they have to have you have an ID. You put it right in front of you. There's a person walking back and forth, making sure that you are you. Okay. Once you finish the test, one or two things can happen. They're going to either give you a score. You do not want to see a score. If they give you a score, that means you failed. They're going to say, all right, you got 68%. You did on financing, you did really good, but on contracts, you did very poorly. They'll tell you what you did good on, what you didn't do good on. So that helps a lot. So for you to study. But if they say pass, that's all. You're not going to tell. They don't tell you score. So if you got 70, you got 90, you got 100, they won't tell you. All you care about is you pass. Okay. So if you pass again, congrats. Please give me a call. I love when I get stories where the students go, I passed on my first time. It makes me feel like I'm a great teacher. So I get happy. But I'll also set a time with you so you can check out our brokerage. And I want you to please check out other brokers so you can compare. Because I know what we have is great. I'm not afraid of you going to check out Keller Williams or Compass or all the other brokerages out there. I'll show you what we have, and then and hopefully you like it. But the best part is, yeah, it's free from my agents. I will reimburse you on your first deal. So when you join us, you do your first deal, you get your paycheck plus your $600 back. Okay. Important websites to know. Change this website. I got to update this. It's dre.ca.gov. So now it's DRE. And this is where you actually apply for your license. This is where you get all your information for your license. E-licensing is where you schedule for your test. Okay. I'll walk you guys all through this when the time comes. All right. First Tuesday is where you go and get your certificates. These are where you get your online textbooks and all your practice tests. They're all on here. Again, if you didn't get your login, let me know and I'll help you guys get that. All right. That's just the orientation part. Okay. So yeah, once you log in, this is what you'll see. You get your quizzes, your exam, and if you pass your exam, you can print out your certificates. This is what you're going to send with your application. Okay. Other than that, did you guys have any questions on the orientation part? We're good? All right. So
yes. I had a question. Once your application is sent to the DRE, how long do you have to take the exam?
So once you send your application, you have 2 years. 2 years to get your license and not have to pay your fee again.
Got it.
So your certificates last forever, literally forever. Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I want to emphasize the class, you have to pass the 3 certificates within a year. Please do so, because after a year, first Tuesday will kick you out and they don't let you log back in. But again, I give you guys all the answers to the quizzes. By week 8, you should pass it all. Okay, there's no excuses. So yeah. All right. So let's get started. So now we're getting started with the actual class. Real estate licensing. First off, the California Bureau of Real Estate, or now they call California Department of Real Estate. So write that in, Department of Real Estate, oversees, regulates, and administers everything that's real estate law. So whenever we get in trouble, when the person that I said that you have to go and talk to when you're trying to get a license and you do have a felony or whatnot, is the Department of Real Estate. Okay. The person that's going to review your case is the chief officer, which is the real estate commissioner. Okay. These are our quiz questions. So make sure you know that. And to engage in real estate, an individual must have either a broker license or real estate salesperson license, which is what you guys are going for. And I'll go over the differences of how to get each in a later slide. But a broker, which is what I have that's licensed, I can do any of these. I can negotiate sale. We can do purchases. We can do real estate exchanges. I can do leases. We can sell mobile homes. We can even sell business opportunity and commercial buildings. Okay. So with the real estate license is very, very powerful. Not a lot of people knew that. They're like, oh, wow, I can actually sell mobile homes and strip malls. And if you have someone who want to buy a skyscraper, yes, you can sell a skyscraper too. Okay. So it's a very powerful license. You can do property management with rent and also if you have business leases. Okay. Now only a broker could do that. If you have a salesperson license, again, that's what you guys are getting first. We don't allow any of our agents to do property management. I don't know, I don't want to say 90%, but a majority of brokers out there do not allow their agents to do both sales and property management. Most of the property management companies, you only focus on property management. The reason why is it's so litigious, meaning there's a lot of lawsuits. The most headache always comes from property management. We actually did have it before. We get a lot of lawsuits, a lot of headaches. It's not worth it. Okay. I actually have a lot of real property management friends that hate it also. So, you know, it's not something that most people want to do. Okay. But just to let you know, you can manage your own property. You just can't manage other people and get a fee for it. I want to emphasize that. Okay. A real estate salesperson has to be employed by a broker. So once you get your license, you do have to work for a brokerage, right? And you can do one or more of our activities. Only a broker may be employed by a client or principal. So make sure you know that word. A principal just means a potential client. An agent can only be employed by a broker. Therefore, the broker is always the agent of the client. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you, but I'll give you an example. I like giving analogies and I like giving stories. So that way you guys understand it. So if you had to deal with, you're working for a brokerage and your mom or your let's say your brother or sister is going to buy a house from us. We got into contract and then you leave in the middle of a deal. I never recommend that. Just finish the deal, then leave the brokerage, right? But let's just say something happens. You hate the broker. Hopefully it's not our fault, but let's say you hate the broker that you work for. There's another company. And you just really want to leave in the middle of the transaction, you can't take the client with you. That contract was with that broker, which means that deal has to finish first, and then you can jump to another brokerage. You can't just say, that's my client, that's my brother, I'm going to leave and take that client with me. And that doesn't happen that way. Okay. Hopefully you understand that now. So the broker is always the person that's on the contract with a client, and you as a salesperson is just kind of our, I don't like saying assistant, but you are working under us to be able to help them. Okay. Brokers need to have reasonable supervision with the agents. And remember, I told you guys, if you as an agent get in trouble or do something illegal, we possibly get in trouble also. Okay. So yeah, we won't do this, but you have to be 18 or older. You have to be honest and truthful, proof of residence, and complete the mandatory continuing education, which is what our education is. And of course, pass the state exam. Those are all the requirements. A broker employs agent is required to have a BRE supervision and reasonable supervision of sales agents' activities. We make sure all our new agents has to go through at least 2 mentorship deals, meaning you work under and shadow a seasoned agent or a mentor. Typically, we train you how to market and get deals in the beginning. But on your first couple of deals, you have to work with a seasoned agent to kind of teach you guys. And we go A to Z. I like throwing my agents in the water. And what I mean by that is, instead of me telling you guys how to swim, I like having you guys do all the work in the beginning and I supervise. And that way you learn faster. Because my goal is for you guys to learn as much as possible, as fast as possible. Okay. And I believe in, if I did everything and you're just watching, you're not going to learn very much that way. So that's just my training. But if you guys say, I'm so scared, this is my close friend, I don't want to screw it up, can you please do the deal and I just watch? I'm totally fine with that too. Okay. But I just prefer that you guys do the actual talking to the agents and writing up the contract. Okay. And yeah, so we will do A to Z with you guys, show properties with you and do the contract with you, go over the disclosures with you. Okay. Overseeing the transaction, of course, of license, file, storage, and maintaining all the documents. There's a ton of documents. Anybody that ever bought a house before, it's like thick stack of disclosures and everything, right? Okay. How to handle trust funds. So we don't do trust funds anymore, but trust funds are basically anything of value that we hold from our clients. Okay. That could be sometimes your EMD, the money deposit. It could be, if we did property management, their deposits for the tenants. Okay. Any advertising that requires a license, we have to oversee. So whenever you want to do advertising, please run it by us first. There are some things that you have to have, like your broker number, the brokerage logo, your license number, your contact information. So there's some requirements whenever you do a ad, and sometimes I catch my agents putting even a social media post. If they're talking about them being licensed, you have to have your name, broker, and license number on there. Okay, that's one thing that a lot of people fail on. Of course, knowledge and also anti-discrimination laws. I love all type of people. I don't see why anybody would be racist, especially in real estate, because anybody want to buy a house, I'm your friend, right? Doesn't matter, you're green, blue person, I will still want to help you, okay? But there are people out there that do discriminate and don't want to help a certain type of people. Well, I hope none of those agents join my brokerage, because we don't tolerate that. Zero tolerance on anything like that, okay? Because if we do have something like that, I have to report it. The way I get in trouble is if I know about it and I don't report it, we both get in trouble if you get caught. But if you do something wrong, I have to report it. And of course, we will have to let that agent go if they did something very illegal. I have never fired an agent except for one, which did do sexual harassment on a few of the female people here. So I gave them warning and they didn't listen. So that's why I had to let them go. But other than that, I never let go an agent because of poor performance or whatnot. We have no quotas here, and you work on your own schedule. Okay, and that's the benefit of it. It's a great thing, but it's also a bad thing because no one tells you what to do. A lot of people don't do it. Okay. So again, trust funds are anything of value held by the brokerage on behalf of the client. All right. Next, every real estate office has to maintain a definite place of business, which we have this office here. For a lot of the people there, we actually move offices to Suite 245 is a bigger office now. So if you do come, make sure you go upstairs it's right by the conference room. Okay. Now, if you want to get your broker license, if you're wondering, oh, Vince, I want to be a broker just like you. You can. You just got to have 2 out of the last 5 years full time, meaning you have to work 40 hours a week in real estate, and a broker has to sign off that you did do full time. Okay. And you have to pass 8 courses instead of 3, because right now you're taking 3: principles, practice, and finance. As a broker, you need to take 8. Any person that wants to do any real estate for loans now, you have to get a separate license too. But if you have done loans, divider, contractor, or graduate with like a law degree, you can skip this 2-year requirement, which is pretty awesome. Okay, as long as you're in the industry. All right. We talked about that. These are the 8 courses. So these are the 5 that you have to take. The reason why I have you guys take these first 3 is because it's required. Then you have to do legal aspects and appraisal. Then after that, you have 3 more. Or I'm sorry. You have these 6 right here, and then you can choose remaining out of these 3. Total has to be 8 classes. Okay, 8 class total. So, who are exempt? Because some of you guys might go, what? I heard that I can sell my own property without a license. That's true. So a person dealing with their own property, you do not need a license. So you could sell your own license, but you cannot make a commission buying it. So that's a big difference. So if you buy it, you have to have a license. Okay. Entity. So if you have a corporation that's buying or that's selling the real estate, if you have an LLC that's selling the real estate, you don't need a actual license. If you're a lawyer if you have a power attorney, which is a legal authority to act on someone's behalf. So I'll give you an example. I had a power attorney for my mother because my mother was very, very ill and she couldn't make her own choices. Me, my brother, and my sister had a power attorney. So we can actually make decisions for her, even including selling her real estate. Okay. If you're an attorney and rendering services, you don't need a license. If you're a trustee of a trustee lien acting on a power of sale provision, meaning you are a lender that lend under property and you have to foreclose on them and sell it, you don't need a license. And we're gonna go over these really tough terms like trustee and trustee liens in the future. So I'm not gonna talk about it now. Resident manager of an apartment complex. If you guys didn't know, if you manage a property that has 16 units or more, you have to have someone live in it. That person does not need a real estate license. All right. So again, what is a power attorney? is authority to act on another person's behalf, especially with a specific or legal matter. Okay. All right. So this answers your question. The applicant has 2 years from receipt of the application to meet the license qualifications and requirements. Luckily, I just checked. They didn't raise the price yet, but they might raise it because everything's going up. Inflation is going up on everything, right? But as of right now, it's still $60 for your exam fee, and your licensing is $245. Okay. Now, let me let you guys know how this works. I'll give you the good news first. You can take this test unlimited times. Okay. So hopefully you don't fail too much, but let's say you fail. Each time you fail, you have to pay $60. Okay. So that's the bad news. Every time you fail, you have to pay again. I have a true story. My sister had this agent. Her name is Ada. I shouldn't give a name, but yeah. Well, I could just, yeah. So her name is Ada, and she doesn't speak English very well. English is a second language. She's Mandarin, and she took it 7 times. So you know, it's possible to get your license even though you don't speak English very well. But here's the thing: because she took that, she took so much effort to get her license. When she got her license, she killed it. She right now is basically retired. Her and my sister helped her build her portfolio, and this is again back in 2009 and 10 that she got her license. But she had a lot of wealthy clients in China that kept buying houses from her, and within like the first, I think there's one person that bought like 15 houses from her. Every commission she reinvested it in the business and buying real estate. Right now, I heard she owns about like 10 properties. A lot of them are paid off, and she's collecting like $50,000 worth of rent. And yeah, she's semi-retired. She still do real estate here and there, but she doesn't have to work anymore. And that's the power of being in the right place at the right time. Okay, so yes, you can pass your test even if you don't speak English. Because I had someone ask me that question. That's why I mentioned that. Now, license is valid for 4 years, meaning you have to renew it. Renew it is very easy. You just take a 45-hour course. It's a continuing education, and then you renew your license. So you don't have to take the state exam again. You don't have to take this class again. It's just a 45-hour online course. I actually have a secret. I do have a seminar that I get to go to where I don't have to do the online course. I just attend the seminar, which they'll teach you a lot, and you get to network and mingle with a lot of other agents. And then if you take this 3-day seminar, you automatically pass your state exam. Okay, so your choice. If you have time, you can go to the seminar, but if not, you can do it online as well. Any questions on this? So you see the broker is going to be more expensive if you want to do the broker test. Okay, and even
Chris, I have
passing.
a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Will you share this PowerPoint with us? Because I like the way it flows.
Oh, okay, yes. So 2 things. If you look on chat, the workbook should have all. It goes exactly with what you see here, but I also will send you guys the slides if you want to. So send me email, and I can send you slides. Sounds good? Okay. Mobile. So hopefully you guys know what mobile home is. But it's classified as both real estate and personal property. It can also be called manufactured home sometimes. So the difference is when you buy a single family house, townhouse, or condo, you have land included with the deal. When you buy a mobile home, you do not own the land. Typically, when you buy a mobile home, you have to pay something called land rent. So you own the house, but you don't own the land. Okay, so hopefully you guys understand that. Now, why would it be called personal property? Is because mobile homes, you can actually put on a trailer and drive it off. All right. So yeah, when it's on the land, it's considered real estate. When it's on a trailer moving, it's considered personal property. Okay. And that's important because I'll show you when you buy it with deeds or when you buy it with a bill of sale. There's something called real estate recovery fund. This is something important as well. I believe it's on this quiz. Okay. I like giving you guys what's on the quiz, so you guys pay attention. It's also known as a Consumer Recovery Act. In case an individual has judgment against an agent due to fraud, misrepresentation, or deceit, or criminal restitution, they have this fund that the clients or the people that got scammed can go towards and get money back. That's what restitution is. Okay. One thing I want to emphasize: the reason why the state doesn't want anybody that has like money laundering or money related issues, because in our industry, you can scam someone a lot of money very easily. I will give you a real life story. You can look it up on Google. She was a agent in Silicon Valley that did this. So what she did was she sold a property to multiple people, asked all of them to send their deposits into her account, and she tried to flee back to the Philippines. Actually, of course, she got caught. Okay, but yeah, that's how powerful our license is, because people trust you. And when we talk about down payment, sometimes these down payment are millions of dollars or six figures. Okay, so that's the reason why they want people that are very trustworthy, that and that's the reason why. Okay, but if some agent did do something bad to a client, the max that they could get is 50,000 per transaction, up to 250,000 per licensee. So giving you the same example, that agent that scammed 6 people, say he scammed 6 people, 100,000 each. Sadly, each person, the first 5, can get a maximum of 50,000, even though they got scammed for 100,000. They can only get 50,000 per transaction, and the 6th person can't get any, because after this agent got that 250,000 maximum, the next person has to sue them in court and get the money that somehow. Okay, but that's how that works. But we are a very protective industry. So in the test, here's a quick tip. I like giving quick tips. Quick tip is, if you don't know what the answer is, the answer that protects the client the most is typically the answer. All right. Your license will, of course, will be suspended until you pay all that back. I'll share something with you guys to make you feel better. We buy up to $1 million $1 million insurance policy for every single one of our license. So please don't make a mistake more than $1 million. That's a pretty big mistake already. Okay, so $1 million E&O, they call it errors and omissions, but it does not cover fraud. Okay, it's only if you made a mistake, like you accidentally sold them a house and didn't check the disclosures and found out that there's a big problem with it, and they sue us. We have insurance to cover you guys. But if they found out that you did it on purpose, insurance might not cover. Okay, and then they will go after you guys. I should say you guys, the bad agent, because none of you guys are going to be bad, right? Right. Okay. Licensee may also file for a fictitious business name. You don't have to do under your own personal name. I actually have 2 companies. I put some on my personal, but I also have my business as well that I put it under. So it's up to you. There are pros and cons. But if you're a brand new agent, just put it on yourself first as a self-employed. And once you get a lot of business and you want to incorporate to save on taxes, then I'll say incorporate. Okay. But usually you'll be doing business as a DBA. I think this might be a quiz question also. So make sure you know this. Calgary cannot issue or renew any license that's not in compliance of anybody that does not pay their child support. So if you do have child support that you need to pay for and you don't pay for it, they can suspend your license, but they will usually give you 150 days temporary just to make money so you can get up to date, up to date on your payments. Okay. Business opportunity. You can negotiate a sale or lease of a business, such as a liquor store, restaurant, gas stations. I've done sandwich shops before. I've done bars before. So we listed a mechanic shop before. So yes, you can do all these, but we do have a different process as well. I do not specialize in commercial. I just do this for close friends. My main expertise is residential real estate and multifamily. So like 2 units, 4 units, and I'm trying to buy myself apartment building. So hopefully get into 5 units and more, which are commercial units. Documents used for a business is a bill of sale. Okay, so it's not a deed. You can also do bulk sales. What's bulk sales? Well, let's say I am selling a liquor store, since we have a liquor store there, and he wants to sell his inventory separately from the business. I can actually sell all his inventory or all his equipment, and I can pay a commission off that. So like you ever see like a Sears going out of business, or there's a ton of big companies going out of business. Well, if you're the agent for that company, you can actually say, hey, I'll sell all your inventory and all your shelves and cash registers, and you can make a commission off that. Pretty awesome. Okay. Again, Bulk sales, any transfer of substantial parts of materials, supplies, merchandise, equipment, or other inventory. Am I going at a good pace? Yes? Okay, cool. Mortgage loan originator is an MLO. And if you do any loan, and remember this, consumer purpose mortgage, okay? That's going to be on the quiz. Consumer purpose mortgage is on any dwelling. Dwelling means a building that someone lives in. Back then, if with a real estate license, you can do loans also. But because of 2007 and 8 meltdown, you have to get a separate license now. All right. So anytime you do a 1 to 4 unit, mobile home, or houseboats, that's something I forgot to tell you guys about. We can sell houseboats if you use it for residence. Dwelling is a building or place that shelter means you live in. So you must take a mandatory 20-hour pre-license course. So separate from this class, you have to take another 20 hours. You have to pass another separate national test. And that one is 125 multiple question, 125 multiple choice questions. You get 190 minutes and you get graded for 115 questions. Now, the reason why I say this is our office allows you to do real estate and loans. Not a lot of brokerages out there do that. Okay, especially if you work for big brokerages, a lot of times they only make you allow their agents to only do real estate. A lot of the mom and pop shops are the ones that let you do the real estate and loans. Luckily for you guys, or for us, we're not a mom and pop and we're not a huge company. We're right in the middle. We do have several offices. We have a big team. We have a lot of resources and training. So you get best of both worlds. Let's talk about agency. Agency is going to be very important, okay? An agent is one who's authorized to act on a place of another, to represent. Then there's an agency relationship. It's always either between principals. Hopefully you guys remember what a principal is. Anybody remember what a principal is? It's the client, right? The client is always the principal. So the principal with the agent, or the employer and employee, which is going to be the broker and the salesperson. Okay, because there are rules between each agency. That's going to be our quiz question too. Okay, in agency relationships, broker and the members of public. So we have clients and their parties. We have the licensed agent and the broker, but there's something called finders and brokers. So I have to emphasize this big time. You cannot give a kickback or referral fee. I'll give you an example. My best friend says, hey, I have someone that wants to buy a house. Can I refer you and you give me some money? Answer is no, you cannot. If you get caught for it, you can lose your license. Okay. Off the record, right? Well, it's recorded, but just let you know, there are better ways of doing it that's legal. So I will remember if they gave me a referral, typically, even whether or not the deal closes, I give it a gift. That is okay. Okay, so this is the difference. If it closes or not, I give a gift. That's okay. The only thing they don't want is you get the referral. If it closes, then you pay them. You cannot do that unless they're licensed. So if they want to start marketing, and they could do that. Or if you hire a finder, meaning you pay them a flat fee or you pay them a salary, they can go out and market for you. And then you can pay them and they can help you find deals. Okay, that's the big difference. So you can hire finders, but you cannot give kickbacks or referrals. I want to emphasize that as well as possible. But yeah, someone just give me a referral, like a good friend of mine, I'll treat them out to lunch or dinner. And then, I'll remember, especially if I close a deal and it's a big deal, on the birthday or on the Christmas, because I'm so thankful, I'll give them an extra nice gift. Okay, so that's legal too, right? But specifically, it's for the birthday, nothing to do with the deal. I want to emphasize that. All right. Agents must also do due diligence. Due diligence just means your homework. You do everything you can to reasonably step and taken by the person to satisfy your legal requirement, especially in buying or selling something. So if I were to help my client buy or sell any house, I want you guys all to treat every client like it's your family. Hopefully you guys wouldn't cheat your family member, or your mom. Let's put your mom, right? Some of you guys might not like your siblings, but hopefully you love your mom. Treat every client like you would your mom. You wouldn't cheat your mom for commission, right? So do that with every client, please. Okay. confusion with real estate jargon. So they do have a lot of confusing stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of the real estate terms are Latin, and even if English is your first language, you never seen a lot of these words before. Okay, so a lot of complicated words. The real estate agent is the broker and is employed by a salesperson. We got that straight already. I'm gonna repeat a lot of things just to emphasize it. So only the broker may be employed by a client. So the thing is, if the test mentions something about the client and the agent, they're always referring to the broker. Okay. A real estate salesperson is just considered an agent of the agent. And then there's something called sub-agency. They can be served both fee splitting between members of brokers or broker-to-broker agreement. So what does this mean? Just to let you know, we don't have to just work with one brokerage. We can actually work with other brokerages. That's really cool, right? It's called referral. So I'll give you an example. I like giving examples. I have a friend that wants to buy in Florida. I don't have an office in Florida, and I'm not going to fly to Florida every time they want to see a house. So I can find a brokerage in Florida, say, hey, I have a client. I want to refer to you. We have a broker agreement. When we close a deal, typically it's 25% to the referrer, which is us, 75% to the referee, which is the person that's closing the deal, which is fair because I just gave a name, right? They're the one doing all the work. They should get 75% of the deal. But it is negotiable. It is always negotiable. I have agents in Nevada that's willing to do 75, 65 split. Okay. I typically don't give it to those agents because if they're that desperate to get clients, there might not be a great agent, but it's up to you, right? If it's a really big deal, then you can try to, negotiate more, right? However, again, it's a broker to broker agreement. Okay. And we have to have it in writing. Okay. So a broker's representation of a client, such as a buyer or seller, is properly taken on a written employment agreement signed by both the client and the broker, and it is necessary for the broker to receive a commission. Everything you guys do, please have in writing, even though it's your brother, sister, mother. Oh, it's my mother. I don't have to worry. Unfortunately, we have to have in writing before we do anything because we could get in big trouble for that. So if you're listing your own house, even if you're our agent, I make sure you have a listing agreement with us. Okay. Now, primary duties due to a client or real estate transaction include. So what are our duties? Well, of course, we have to do due diligence, do all investigation for a property that they want. So we look at the disclosures, we look at all their inspection reports, and you have to learn how to look at those, which I'll slowly teach you. Evaluating the financial impact. So can they afford it? Like for me, if I know that they love the house, but they can't afford it, I will make sure that, hey, look, I'd rather you not buy this house and overstretch yourself and then lose this house because I'm not doing you justice, right? Even though a more expensive house is more commission, okay? So it's 7:30. After the slide, we'll take a quick 5-minute break, all right? Advice for legal consequences. So when you sign these documents, these are legal contracts. It's not just like, oh, I signed this, or I just feel like backing out, okay? We have people that try to do that. But you have to emphasize that once you have a legal agreement document, that can cause lawsuits. They will sue if that happens. Okay. Consider tax aspects. When you buy property, you have property taxes you have to pay. You have transfer taxes that you have to pay. You have consistent annual property tax that you have to pay. Right. Reviewing and the suitability of the client's exposure. So again, if you don't make payments, you can lose a property. You have to buy insurance to cover your property in case there's a flood, like right now, there's crazy flooding, right? So yes, please care and protect both the clients and themselves on all real estate, okay? Your license has to, of course, know your scope. Quick story. There was a client that got caught for this. They had a beautiful condo that they listed. It was a penthouse condo. It was a penthouse, I remember. It was a penthouse condo. And this agent was pretending that it was his place, taking dates to the property. You cannot do that. Just because you have access to the key doesn't mean you could do that, right? So don't be that agent, right? So, just because you have access to the property, you make sure you treat it like it would be your own. Document the agent's task undertaken. So all the stuff that we do, and I'll teach you guys a very good responsibility thing to do. Every time you tell a client something, make sure you have it in writing. Okay. It will protect you in the long run. I still have every single text and every single email between me and all my clients since 2009. All right. I have in a Google Drive, and there's a reason for this, because let's say I told them about a leak on the property, and I mentioned it only verbally. And then when we close, they says, I don't remember you talk about that. And he says, yes, I did. Remember, I told you. If it's when you go into a lawsuit and you is he said, she said, they typically will go with side with the tenant, the client, because it's a client protective industry. However, after I told them and I send them a text, and I have it, a text showing that I said that, I can go back and they let's say they are suing and say, hey, I didn't know about the leak. And typically when they sue everybody. They don't just sue their agent, they sue every agent and also the seller, right? I can say January 1st, 2023, I text you this, and they have nothing to say now, right? Because I text you, hey, there was a leak, and you were disclose it. So if that was the case and the judge sees it, they go, you know what, you have no fault, and then you get to keep your license. Okay. So please make sure you document everything you do. All right. Or everything you say, especially if it's a material fact. We're going to talk about material facts. Material facts, anything that can change or alter the client's mind from buying or selling the house. Okay. Of course, you must possess sufficient knowledge, ability, and determination to perform all your duties. Just getting your license alone is not enough. Remember I told you 90% of stuff you don't use? I need all my agents to at least have the decency to go and learn even after you get your license. Okay. I right now go to more classes than any of my agents, not just because, I need to train my agents, but I love learning. And you think some of you guys might think I'm looking really young right now. Imagine when I got my license 15 years ago, I look even younger. And for myself to get clients, I knew I had to be the best. I knew I had to know more than every other agent, because they wouldn't trust me if it wasn't the case. So that's why I instilled in myself a lot of training and knowledge, and I have tons of classes that I paid for. Some of these classes, $2,000 classes. I would give it to you guys all for free. If you join us as my team, of course, I will teach you how to even open up your own brokerage. Okay. And again, I like creating win-win-win situations. Okay. But yes, please take as much classes as possible. And the more you know, the more confident you are, the more deals you're going to do. Simple as that. Okay. I will show you. You think I give you guys a lot of training material for passing a test? Wait till you get your license. I have way even more books, audio books, training programs. We have live training. I do Marketing Mondays in the office every single, and the mentorship training. All right. So agency law. Oh yes, I'm sorry. We finished that slide. Let's take a 5-minute break. I know you guys must be tired. So be back by 7:40, if that's okay. 7:40. Oh, if you need to use a restroom, it's for females it's I'm sorry. 5196 is the male, 1207 is a female. And I have it posted right there. Just so you know. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me and also just to let you guys know, I'll be available if you guys have any questions right now. This is a great time to ask while we're on the break also. Okay. So All right, guys. It is 7:40. Hopefully you guys are back and we're going to continue. Oops. So agency law disclosure. Make sure you have this with every deal. It's basically to disclose who we represent on the relationships. Okay. There's two sets. One is the agency laws, which just sets the rules of our agency, and then the agency confirmation, which of course tells them we represent you as a buyer, we represent you as a seller, or do we represent you as both? And you can represent us both. Okay. Agency law, this is going to be on a quiz. Agency law disclosure must be present in every listing, selling, buying, or any lease over more than 1 year. So anytime you have this, you have to have the agency law disclosure. Okay. Now, hopefully you guys know how real estate works. You can help people buy a house. When you have a friend that says, I want to buy a house, you are representing them as a selling agent. I know this is confusing, but you're not really selling the house, right? But I'll mention something for you guys to remember this, okay? And if you're helping a seller, you're called a listing agent, okay? And if you do both, you're considered a dual agent. All right, I'm gonna have a trick question for you later also. But why do they call listing agent for a seller and selling agent for a buyer? When I have a client that wants to sell the house, I am gonna list it on the MLS. So let's say my client wants to sell his house, I list it on MLS. That's why I'm called a listing agent. You as a buyer's agent is helping me sell this house to your client, right? Because you go to our open houses, you go show your clients' houses, you're selling the house for us as a listing agent. That's why you're called a selling agent, okay? So make sure you see the difference. If they say seller agent is listing, if they say selling agent is the buyer. All right, so I'm gonna emphasize that. All right, so what's the difference between a dual? Dual is you sell the property, you do open house, a client comes in, no agent says, I want to buy a house, can I buy it from you? You can represent both of them. And that's called double ending a deal. And you get double the commission, which is awesome. Okay. I'll tell you my secret though. I never do dual agent. I never do it. Well, I don't want to say I never do it because I did it before. As of now, I do not do it personally. I don't double end it. And there's a big reason, because when I'm selling a house, one of my key things that I say to a seller, which helps me beat a lot of other agents, is I tell my seller, look, whenever I sell your property, I would never represent the buyer because I believe it's a conflict of interest. I want to put your needs on top of everybody else's. And if a buyer comes to me, I will give that client away. And sellers love to hear that, because if you had a choice, an agent that says, I'm going to fight for you and get you top dollar, or an agent that says, oh, I do represent buyer, and I'll help you guys get a fair price. You're going to want an agent that's going to fight for you and only list with you. So that's how I beat a lot of our agents. And a lot of times when people are selling the house, they will interview multiple agents. And there's one way, and I have several ways where you can beat other agents. Okay, I teach you guys to be the Mercedes or the high end of real estate. I don't want to teach you guys to be the lowest, cheapest person and just go, oh, I do it for less money and 1% or whatever it is. I want to teach you guys the right way of doing real estate, to give value, to show that, hey, people pay for a Mercedes or a Lexus or a Tesla more than, you know, a Kia. No disrespect if you're driving a Kia or a Hyundai. They're good cars, but they're inexpensive for a reason. If I get in an accident, I prefer to be in a Mercedes, because if you get in an accident, I can guarantee you, you're not gonna have any problems with a Mercedes, and the Hyundai will get smashed. Okay. I want you to be that realtor that you provide better service and demand a higher commission. And I'll share with you guys all the stuff I do. All right. Now, I have a trick question for you. There are two different salespersons under one brokerage. So I'll give you guys examples. Let's just say one of our agents have a listing in my office, and you work for our brokerage and you found a buyer for it. Is that considered a dual agent? What do you think? Yes or no? Yes, it's a dual agent. Anybody online? Do you think it's a dual agent? You're right. You guys are considered dual agent. Why? Remember, because when we are, the agent is always a broker, right? So if one of my agents has a listing, me as a broker, I am the agent for it. And then if you are the salesperson, I am still the agent on that contract. So even though we have two separate agents, we are still a dual agency. Okay, so we have to disclose that. And if you don't disclose that, we can lose our commission. So everybody's gonna be unhappy. My listing agent's gonna be happy. You as a buyer agent's gonna be happy. Me as a broker, very unhappy also, right? So make sure you check the right box because we will lose all our commissions if we don't disclose it, okay? All right, very important on that. There's two obligations. Of course, there's a primary agency duties, which have our fiduciary duties. Our fiduciary duty means we do our best job for our clients. Okay, that's a fiduciary duty. You put your client's need above yours. I have told clients to not buy a house, even though it's a big commission, that say, this is not a right house for you. Please don't buy it. I looked at the disclosures, it's not worth it. And your clients will respect you more if you told them to do that. Because if you know a house has a high commission and you still sell it to them, yes, you might make a lot of money there, but in the future, they're not going to refer deals to you no more. Me, I always look for long-term. I always want all my agents to go, hey, I want to do such a good job for my client that they'll refer me to more and more clients and that they'll use me again. Because statistics show 75% of people never use the same agent. I want all our agents to not be that statistic, okay? So general duties include all duties owed to every party in the transactions, requiring them to be honest and not be deceitful and have a general duties. What is the difference? If my client asks me a question, I have to go above and beyond and find out the answer for them. That's my fiduciary duty. If another agent's client, so buyer, and I'm listing agent, come to my open house and ask me a question, I have a general duty to tell them the truth, but I don't have a duty to go above and beyond. So if, let's just say my client asked me, did someone pass away in this house? I have to go do the research, check all the disclosures, check the previous owner, right? Whereas at the open house, if a buyer asks me, I could just say, I don't know. I don't have knowledge about it. That's the truth. And that's all I have to do. I don't have to go and find the answer. However, if I do know the answer, I have to let them know, okay? So again, fiduciary duty, a legal obligation of one party to act on the best interest of another person, okay? Now, there's something called conflict of interest. What happens if there's a conflict of interest? That an agent has existing client and competing interest or bias that hinders the ability to fulfill their fiduciary duty. What does that mean? Well, if you have a pre-existing relationship with another person due to kinship, if you have employment, partnership, common membership, religious affinity, civic ties, or any social economic text. Meaning, if I have a listing, a buyer comes in, and I know them because I go to school with them, or they're a good friend of mine, or I go to the same church as them, you have to disclose to your client that, oh, just let you know, I have I actually met this person before, and the reason why is they want you to be as transparent as possible. Let me ask you a question. If you were selling your house with me, and then I sold the property, and you found out that was my brother that bought the house, and I didn't tell you that's my brother, you're gonna think, wait a minute, that's your brother? How come you didn't tell me? Now you kind of think you try to hide it because you try to give your brother a better deal. That makes sense, right? But if I told you up front, hey, I'm just letting you know, this is my brother. My brother likes your house. I'm gonna help. I'm gonna make sure I help him and you at the same time. If you're doing a dual agency, if it was my case, I would say this, Mr. Client, I'm still gonna help you 100%. Even though this is my brother, I'm gonna tell another agent to help them. That way, I don't have any conflict of interest. See, there's a big difference there. And here's a big secret. Well, guess what? I'll give it to you as an agent because you're under my team. I get paid anyways for it. So I don't mind helping my agents. And I actually do give a lot of my agent deals. I just gave half a deal to another agent because I'm trying to not do as much deals as possible anymore. I want to be a manager and help you guys make money because the more money I help you guys make, the more money I make. And I don't have the time to go drive people to show houses anymore, right? So make sure you don't do any conflict of interest. Okay, very, very big thing. So conflict of interest must be disclosed at the time or as soon as possible. If the broker hold or indirect hold ownership of the property, or if you're related by blood or marriage with the property or buyer, you have to disclose that also. So, meaning if I'm selling one of my real estate deals, and I have my sister list a lot of my properties when I flip properties also, I have to put on there, real estate agent is a licensed broker. In your case, real estate seller is a licensed real estate salesperson. So if you sell your own property, you have to disclose that. Okay. Similar to referral of a client to financial control business, you must, or own or co-own, you must disclose with the ABA. What does that mean? Some of you guys might be realtors and also contractors. Some of you guys might be realtors and tax consultants. If you did real estate transaction for them and then help them with a contracting, like fixing up the house, and you get paid for it, you have to disclose with the ABA. Okay. Us, because we do real estate and loans, every time we do the both real estate and loan, we have to put this in there that says ABA. You're helping your real estate, but we also are making money from the loan. Again, we want to be as transparent as possible. And if you guys have to ask, hey, Vince, do I have to tell them this? My answer is always just tell them, just in case. Just tell them. It doesn't hurt to tell them. Okay. It will hurt if you didn't tell them and get caught for it. Right. However, when the broker receives a broker's fee on the sale of their own property, subject to themselves as an agency requirement. What does this mean? You guys can actually sell a house without using a license. But if you ever put it on an MLS with your license number, then you have to go through the brokerage. Then we have to charge a agent commission. Okay. Any of our agents that does sell a house through our brokerage, we give you a discount. So we always do 1% flat fee. So it's easy for you guys. So even though, because we still have liability, right? So you sell your house, you make half of the, so technically the brokers only make 0.5% because you guys are representing yourself. So you make the commission, but we have 1% fee. That's all. Okay. When listing the agreement, authorize the listing broker to cooperate with other brokers, they may share property information with the other brokers and share broker fee. The members of the brokers buy into a multiple listing service, MLS. Hopefully you guys know what MLS is. That's where we list our properties. That's where we search for our houses. Okay, you ever heard of MLS? That's where we partner with other brokers. Okay, so we list it on there. The agent sees on MLS, comes and shows the property. We have a broker-to-broker agreement. Typically, so we're not supposed to really talk about specifics in commissions. It's antitrust law, just FYI. But for informational purposes, typical commission, we try to get a 6%. Average, I think, is a little under 5. It's like 4.8, something like that is the average commission. I usually try to go for 5. Okay. But we shoot for 6, go for 5. And with that 5%, we split 2.5 to the buyer's agent, 2.5 to the listing agent. That's the most common. But you can change it all you want. You can actually go, I want to give more to the buyer agent. I want to give 3% to the buyer agent, 2% to me, or to you as a listing agent. You can do that. Okay. Am I going too fast? I forgot to ask. If you guys have questions, again, I know I'm getting excited and talk fast. When you guys...
Vince, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
In what instance would a seller want to give more to the buyer agent than to himself? Why would you give the other agent more than yourself?
Great question. Especially right now in a buyer's market, I might have to do that just to entice agents. This happened a lot in 2009, 10, 11, because listing agents couldn't sell a property. It was so tough. They had to give more commission to be able to sell the property. So let me give you a good example right now. I actually do have a property that is a little overpriced. I'm going to talk to my client to drop the price, hopefully next week. We said 1 more week open house. If I don't get an offer, we have to drop the price. And if I feel that he doesn't drop it enough, I might go, we did get 5%. I might go 2.5, 2.5. I might say, you know what? I'm going to give 3 to the buyer agent, because if an agent is going to show houses and all the houses in the area are giving only 2.5, I'm giving 3, that agent is going to really try to sell my house more, right? They're going to say, hey, buyer, don't buy the house. Buy this house. Even though that's not how you're supposed to do it, there's a ton of agents out there that don't care, and they would do that and make a client buy a house because they get more commission. Hopefully our agents don't do that. Okay. I always take out commission out of the picture, and I try to help my clients buy the property. But in the reality, if both of them are very similar, I am going to push the higher commission. Anybody would, right? So that's the reason why. You can reverse it too. I have an agent in the office that always goes and gives him more commission because he puts out more money to market the property. But when he gets a listing, he pays for staging, he pays for cleaning the property, he pays for a lot of the marketing stuff because he knows that if he does do staging and do all that stuff, it sells for more money and it sells for faster, right? So he ends up saying, hey, I get extra 5.5%, right? And he used that money for marketing. So it's up to you. It's typically up to the agent to negotiate with the seller how you want to split the commission. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Did it answer your question? Yes. Hopefully?
Yes, sorry, I was on mute. Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I love questions. Please, again, when you guys ask questions, it makes me feel that you guys are paying attention, because usually I love when a lot of people are in the class. However, majority of the classes are all online. So, oh wow, we have like 10 people online right now. So yes. Okay. An agent that fails to disclose his or her agency can, oh, actually I didn't talk about material facts. I mentioned it earlier, but a material fact is any information that may change the client's mind or affect the decision is a material fact. Okay. So if you fail to disclose, you lose your money. You might be liable if that client lost money, and you might get disciplinary action from the Cal DRE. Not good. So please disclose. In a dual agency, again, you cannot pass. Oh, this is a quiz question. You cannot pass confidential information. So if I know what my seller is willing to do, and I am helping a client, I can't tell the client, hey, buyer, I know the bottom price of this seller. He's okay with 1.2. That's you lost your fiduciary duty. Vice versa, you can't go to the seller and be like, I know he's qualified up to 1.3. Let's make him pay 1.3, right? You cannot do that. Please don't do that. Be fair, right? Ask the client, give him all the comps and say the house in the area is selling for 1.25. This has this upgrade, this upgrade, this upgrade. What do you feel like you want to put the offer in? Oh, I want to put 1.2. 1.2. Okay, and then you do the negotiation, you do the dance. You go to your seller and say, my client is willing to pay 1.2. They go, no, I want 1.28. And you go back and forth. And hopefully they end up in 1.23, 1.24, and both people are happy. And then you did your job correctly as a dual agent. But I don't have to do that because I give it to another agent and I just negotiate with the agent. Makes it easier, and I don't feel as torn, right? So yes. Trust funds, very important. You have to know this, but we often don't hold trust funds because there's just so much liability. Like I don't want to have someone's money because I have to put it in a separate account. Cannot be money with our own account. Cannot be money with the broker's account because it's called commingling. Okay, we're gonna talk about commingling. That's sometimes on the test, state test. It's not on a quiz, but I see that on the state test. Commingling fund is putting clients' money in the same account as your money, because guess what? It's earning interest. You're not supposed to do that, right? So it could be rental security deposits that you hold. It could be good faith deposits. So when you buy a property, you have to give a good faith deposit, or what we call EMD, earnest money deposit. Fees, if you have any fees in advance. So some agents charge their clients for marketing. Okay, I don't, because I believe that that's part of our job to market it. But some high-end agents, if the clients say, I want it on the news magazine, I want it on print, I want to do a special high-end video on it, and they, in those cases, yes, agent can ask the buyer or the seller to go, hey, I need some advance fees to pay for some of this marketing. Okay. Loans, if there's any loans or collections, those are the trust funds. Anything of value, because we don't do it here, but like in Asia, back in Vietnam, my parents bought property with gold. So they don't even do with cash. They do with gold sometimes. So yeah, you could do pieces of gold to buy property. And if someone here. Oh, a good analogy would be Bitcoins. Right now, cryptocurrency, that's not money, right? It's also something of value. You can buy property with cryptocurrency right now. So that's a trust fund. Okay. Keeping good records is very, very important. Please make sure you keep good records of everything you do. All right. If you receive any funds, document it. Again, we don't do trust funds here. If you are a broker and you want to hold trust funds, you can. Make sure you don't commingle. You don't put in the same accounts. Okay. Separate money. And you have to document everything. How much came in, how much goes out, whose money you're holding in there, etc. Furthermore, you're required to regularly account for it. You have to have something called an owner statement. I think this is a quiz question. I can't remember. Yeah, so I think it's a quiz question, but you have to have an owner statement. Okay. Now, the reason why is they changed the quiz a couple of times already. So it might be an old quiz, it might be a new quiz. I can't remember if it's a new quiz or old quiz. Civil rights. So there is a huge section on civil rights and fair housing. So I'm gonna go through it pretty fast because a lot of it is the same. A lot of it is the same. Okay. Number one, regardless of race, all citizens have the right to buy and rent real estate. Please. I have clients tell me, I don't want to rent it out to a certain person or a certain race. I tell them, sorry, I cannot make that decision. I will be transparent. You make the ultimate choice. Okay. So it doesn't matter if they're green people, black people, or, purple people, whatever it is. We have to give everybody the same right. Okay. Federal Fair Housing Act, FFHA, specifically protects all dwellings. So someone that lives in a place, they are the ones to protect them. They bar you from any discriminatory acts, race, color, or national origin, religion. So, you can't say, oh, this person is this religion. I don't agree to them. I don't want to sell the house. You can't do that. Sex, meaning male, female, or transgender, or LGBT. Right now there's a big debate on that, right? Family status. You cannot just say, I don't want to rent to them because they have kids. You cannot do that. Okay. Handicap, there's a big one. I mean, you don't want handicapped people have a tough life already. Please don't, be discriminatory to them. Okay. It could be physical, mental, any activity. Yes. Landlord or property manager may not refuse to rent a dwelling or negotiate prohibited discriminatory acts. Impose different rental charges. You could say, oh, I'll rent to you, but because you are this race, I'm going to charge you more. You cannot do that. Okay. Discriminatory qualifications, meaning you make them have to earn more money or have bigger down payment. No, you can't do that. You can evict them just because of discriminatory reasons. Okay. And you cannot do selective reduction, meaning I'll rent to you, but I'll lower your privileges. You cannot have this parking space, whereas you gave parking space to another person, or service or facility. Just everything has to be equal. Let's put it that way. Okay. Providing different terms, delaying, failing to perform maintenance for them, limiting their use and services. Agents are prohibited to use discriminatory advertising too. So please don't write this. There's a few things. Oops. Oh, okay. So please don't write looking for, again, I'm trying not to use the real words, but I looking for green people, right? Purple people, please do not apply, right? Things like that. Don't use that. Even though your client asked you to, I cannot use it. Okay. You may not induce or to offer to abstain offering a dwelling to prevent entry of a class of people into a neighborhood known as blockbusting, panic selling, panic peddling, or scare tactic selling. Example, a lot of minorities are moving in. You need to sell now. This is a form of blockbusting. This is one of the 3 major no-nos that you do in real estate. So remember blockbusting. It's going to be a quiz question. It's going to be, one of these are going to be in the state exam. Blockbusting is big. So you cannot induce an individual saying, you should buy this house, you shouldn't buy this house because of something racial or sex related or religion related or whatever. Okay. There's exception. One exception is senior citizen housing. So I think this might be on a quiz because it's intended for anybody that's 62 years and older. So there's a lot of mobile home parks that do this. There's a lot of senior citizen homes that the condos are so very, very inexpensive because it's made for these type of people. Okay. So if I was like 40 years old, I cannot buy this type of property. When real estate broker is subject to a judicial action if you're found guilty. So first off, I am open. If I find out any of my agents, unfortunately, I have to report you if you do something that's illegal, okay, or discriminatory. UNRWA, right? So you guys have the book, so follow along with the book and write UNRWA, write equal business. So any discrimination regarding business is the UNRWA Civil Rights right. Okay, so the other is FFHA is for housing. So when you see fair housing, it's for housing. UNRWA, business. So any discrimination based on business for sex, race, color, religion, ancestry, or national origin, same thing, disability, right? You cannot discriminate a blind person with seeing a guide dog, so you have to let them in, or like hearing dogs. You cannot deny them even to enter or something like that. Okay. Newly constructed must have 4 units, must have wheelchair access now. Okay, that's a rule for building codes. Furthermore, landlord or property manager must disclose known deaths of any that took place within the last 4 years. Just so you guys know, there's a magic number in real estate. 3 years. A lot of things in real estate is 3 years. So a lot. So I have to keep my records, minimum 3 years. Disclosing a death, 3 years. Okay. But there's a asterisk. Asterisk means a exception. If they ask you, have anybody ever passed away and you know someone passed away 5 years ago, you have to tell them the truth. But on the transfer disclosure statement, there's a form that we have to give every time we sell a house. It says, has anybody passed away within the last 3 years? If you know someone passed away 4 years, you are legally able to say, no, no one passed away. You could. California enforces numerous regulations, of course. Brokers and their agents are found guilty of engaging discriminatory business, may be disciplined. They can, of course, you can't discriminate against race, color, sexual origin, same thing. Broker has the duties for anti-discrimination rules. So for me, I just told you guys already, please don't do it. I have an equal housing opportunity sign just right there in my office. Yeah, I mean, again, why would anybody want to? You can make a commission from them. Why not, right? Brokers are responsible for both their acts and also employees. So I have training on this. I do train you guys on other things like self-protection, especially female agents. I don't want to scare you guys, but female agents, you guys are a target. There's crazy people out there that can easily go, oh, you're beautiful. I'm looking for a house. And then, you know, you go into a empty house with them. They lock the door on you. What can you do? Right. So I always say, you know, if you feel unsafe, always go with a partner, always bring pepper spray or some type of form of self-protection, and always have an exit. Have them be in the front and you at the exit door so you can run out if you need to. So just there in real estate, all of us have a week that we train all the agents for safety. And even guys, hey, we get targeted also. I almost got robbed multiple times. One secret tip for you guys, I have 2 wallets. I have my own regular wallet, which has my real ID and real credit cards. And I have a fake wallet, which is a cheap wallet that I put maybe like 30 bucks in there. An old driver license that's expired, and gift cards and expired credit cards. If I ever try to get robbed, I will take my wallet, fake wallet out, throw it. So they just want your money, right? They're not going to hurt me. I show them the money and I throw it and I run the other way. They're not going to chase after you. They're just going to go after your wallet and you run away. So that's what I would teach you. Because when I show properties in Oakland and Pittsburgh, I know agents that got robbed before. So I don't want to get all my credit cards. I don't want to go DMV for my license. So I keep my real wallet away when I'm showing properties. Good tip. Okay. Implicit discrimination. What are these? It's being discriminatory without saying you're discriminatory. So example, if I have all my advertising is all Asian people. I put all my advertising in Chinese, and all my ads are in Chinese, and it makes it feel that, oh, I don't want to help anybody else, right? That's a implicit discrimination. Okay. So by the way, for all of you guys, I do speak Cantonese. I am part Vietnamese, but I cannot sell house in Vietnamese. So I do have a lot of Vietnamese agents. We have Hispanic, Tagalog, Indian. They have a lot of different dialects. So we have a few. So in case you do have clients, we always like partnering up with one another, because a lot of times if I have a Filipino client and I know they like to deal with their own people, I would refer to Dina and I'm like, hey, can you help me out and partner on this deal? You can do that also. Okay. So residents needs to have abilities for home buyers to creditworthy to qualify purchase assistance state. We're going to talk about the second real estate no-no. Okay. Goal of anti-discriminatory law and home financing is to increase available housing for creditworthy buyers. Failure to provide financing in certain communities is called redlining. So that's number 2, redlining. Do not do redlining. Redlining is a lender saying, I will not give a loan for this area because this area is the bad area, is the ghetto, is the poor area. So here's how you remember it. I'm drawing a red line on this bad neighborhood and I don't want a loan there. But you can't do that because in every community, there's good people, hardworking people that can afford a house. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a lender. I want to lend to the rich people because I know they're going to have money to pay me back. No, you can't do that. Okay. So let's go back. Blockbusting. Blockbusting is number 1. You induce and say, you hurry up and sell this. The price is going to go down because a lot of minorities coming in. You can't do that. Redlining is number 2. You cannot discriminate on financing. Number 3, steering. Steering is number 3. Steering is directing people to or away. Oh, you're Asian. Oh, you got to move to Tully area, Story area. Don't just automatically assume. People get offended by it. And you cannot go, oh, you are this type of race. I don't want you moving into this area. That's steering. Okay. So again, what steering is easy. You're steering them away or to a place. Redlining again, failure to disclose to do financing. A lender can consider neighbor conditions when making a mortgage on certain circumstances. If the lender demonstrates a mortgage denial is based on neighbor conditions because it's unsafe or unsound. And I'll give you a very good example of this. If you look at a lot of properties on Pacifica, it's on the coast of the Bay Area. A lot of the ocean beach is deteriorating the land. So there's this one building that's an apartment building that a lot of it is gone already and is red tag. Red tag meaning you cannot sell it, you cannot live in it. A lender can say, oh, that whole area is red tag because I don't want to lend on it. It's gonna drop in the sea. So yes, they can deny based on unsafe conditions, but not just draw a circle and say, nope, bad neighborhood, don't want to lend there. So I want to make sure that there's a difference. I mentioned this already. ECOA, same thing. Don't discriminate on all the stuff for credit. So you can take many forms. One, you can't treat minority mortgage less favorable. You can't say, oh, you're a minority, I have to do more stringent qualifications. Can't do that. Okay. In addition to the credit opportunity, so number 1, you all get a free copy of your credit report. Please make sure you do it. I have multiple people I know when we were trying to buy them a house, find out we pulled the credit and they have identity theft. They're like, wait, why am my score so low? And they found out someone opened a credit card under their name and charging and not pay it. Check it every year. I do it on my birthday. Every birthday, I check my credit so I know anybody open up a credit card under not my name, I can do it now. Because those clients that were ready to buy a house, it took us 6 months to clear everything. And for someone that's ready to buy a house, 6 months is a long time. Okay. And a lot can happen in 6 months. Right? Rates skyrocketed last 6 months. So please check your credit. And of course, credit agencies, we do have to see that for credit to be able to get them a loan. There's 3: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. These are the ones we check. I know there's others that people say, oh, I have this other score. We cannot use it. Okay, cannot use it. We have to check these three. All right, last chapter. Home Mortgage Disclosure Act, HMDA. This, I think, is a quiz question. It seeks to prevent lending discrimination. So you're going to see on the application, home loan application, that's going to ask you at the very end, are you Native American, Afro-American, Asian descent, Pacific Islander? They're not asking because they want to deny you. They're asking so they can oversee it. Because if let's say Wells Fargo has an extreme amount of certain type of people that's getting denied, they can look into it, right? So they just want to ask because of it. That's all. So if you see that on your loan application, don't be afraid to fill that out. Okay. It has the type of purpose of your mortgage. It has the occupancy status of your real estate, the amount of mortgage you're going to ask for, your sex, race, national origin of your applicant, and also income. You have to tell your income because that's what they're going to base on if you apply, if you qualify or not. Okay. Very important, and this is debt to income ratio. In real estate, they don't care how much you make. They care how much you keep after your income. And I'll give you a very good example. Okay. Debt to income ratio is what you make monthly minus all your taxes and your payments of your car loans on houses and all that stuff. Okay. Here's a question. If you make $1 million a month, you make $1 million a month, will you qualify for $1 million loan? You can pay it off 1 month. What do you guys think? Those online, you said no. The answer is no. You might not qualify. Why did I say this? Because yeah, let's just say I make $1 million a month, but I have $1,001 of debt. I have 10 houses and a ton of cars that I have to pay out over $1 million. Well, then the bank's gonna say, wow, after you pay all this stuff, you end up with zero. I'm not gonna give you a loan. So it's not how much you make. And the reason why I emphasize this is I know a friend that makes really good money. I know they make a ton of money. He has a lot of nice stuff, but his business reports very little. So when I went to look at $1 million houses with him, guess what? He didn't qualify. I wasted a lot of my time. I wasted a lot of his time. And had I just got him pre-approved first and know he's only able to buy 1.5, we wouldn't waste time looking at $2 million homes, right? So just because you know your friend makes a lot of money or your client makes a lot of money, I should always ask them to get pre-approval. And that's the first step of buying any house. Any client I get, I go through a buyer consultation and I ask them, are they pre-approved? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more chapter. HUD advertising guidelines. So for print or publishing, first off, it's a Federal Fair Housing Act that does this. You cannot use any advertising with any of the race, sex, sexual orientation, all that stuff. Again, same thing. Can't use white private home. Can't say Jewish home, Hispanic neighborhood. Just try not to use any of these words. Adult building, same as that. They require us brokers when selling or renting to basically display a fair housing poster on all my business cards. I have the equal housing opportunity. I have the fair housing logo, just to let people know we are open. We don't discriminate. I have to display this in our office, so I have it displayed in our office. And this just let you know, if my agent get caught for any discrimination act and I don't display that logo there, they might consider me being discriminatory. So that's the reason why. Okay, so yes. Other than that, that's the end of today. I'm sorry, I kind of went pretty long because it's already 8:19. We have a quiz. Okay, we have the quiz. So if I gave you time to do the quiz, usually I give you 10 minutes, we will be out of time and we'll go over. So what we're gonna do is we'll do it together. Okay, we'll save you time. And so I'll ask the questions and then I'll give you the answer right away. Okay, so let's do that. That's my family, by the way. Where is the, oh, you know what? I know why. It's over here. Okay. So real estate class. Quiz, principles quiz. Oh, no, not this one. Where's here? No. Oh, where did I put? Let me just type in principles. That will go. Principles. Oh, I see it. Right here. Principles quiz second edition. Okay, this one. Okay. This I have another one. Hang on. It's the one that you guys have on your book. Yeah. So I'm trying to find that one. The one exactly on your book. I know it. Oh, you know what? It's on my computer. I don't know why I'm searching online. I have on my computer already. So, principles. Document. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sorry, I usually have it open early, but I want to have it open for you guys to see. So why is not opening? Oh, it's searching my whole computer. That's why. Let me find a better way of doing this. Should have it here somewhere. Here we go. Perfect. All right, let's go. Number one. The California legislature created the blank to oversee, regulate, and administer. Oh, yeah, it is C. So good. C. The chief officer of the California Bureau of Real Estate is A is correct. Real estate commissioner. To be eligible for a broker order license agent, the applicant needs to be honest, truthful, and complete what? D. Pass the qualifying exam. That is correct. All the real estate brokers and agents need to complete at least blank of continued education for them to renew the license. 45, which is C. So number 4C. Number 5, blank is available for individuals who have obtained a judgment against the licensee and unable to recover judgment of the losses caused. What is that called? A is correct. The recovery fund. The residential mortgage primary for personal or family or household use is called. That is correct. A, consumer purpose mortgage. Number 7, real estate related transaction includes relationships between brokers and both. So C, you're right. So yes, principal and agent, broker, and an agent and broker. Okay. 8, a broker's representation of a client, such as a buyer or seller, is best undertaken on written. And yes, remember I mentioned that everything in writing, please. C in writing.
Can you scroll up a little bit? I can't. I'm only able to see up to 7. There we go. Okay, thank you.
There it goes. Okay. So just let you know, I'm gonna put it in again in the chat. I have a actual book for you guys. So if you open up, I should open that instead. So if I go to, give me 1 second, my drive. So open this up, okay? Or actually, I'm gonna click on this link. It'll go to there. So once I click on this link, you get this workbook right here. So if you open this link, you have this full workbook, and it had all the stuff that we were talking about in the slides, but the actual quiz is in here also. So you could do your quiz in here. Oh no, I'm just all the way down. Okay, here goes. So we are on number 8. So I'm gonna do it from here because this is exactly how yours look, and it's easier to read for you guys too because it separates the questions. Okay, so we are right here. Number 9. Okay, so number 8 was C. Number 9, agency law disclosure needs to attach to which of the following documents? D, we mentioned all the above. Okay. Failure for the selling agent to provide the agency law disclosure will result in what happening? B, yep, loss of fees only. So, like I said, we won't be happy. Okay. Number 11, blank arises when a broker and the agents acting on behalf of a client has competing professional or bias and hinders our ability to fulfill our fiduciary duties. What is that called? Yep, conflict of interest. Conflict of interest is correct. So C. Number 12, the broker is simultaneously representing both interests of opposing parties. What is that called? Dual agent. So A. Number 13, when a dual agency is established of a 1 to 4 residential sales transaction, the broker may not do what? It is A. Past confidential pricing information. Remember I told you guys the example, oh, my seller is willing to take this much, or my buyers can go this high. You cannot do that, right? So A. 14, funds belong to others or other brokers on acting of the transaction is called trust funds. So B, trust funds. 14, a broker is required to regularly account to the owner and the status of expenditures and locations of the trust funds. What is that one called? Owner statement. C. Wow, you're really good. Really good at this. You're gonna pass the test, no problem. Regardless of race, all citizens in the United States have the right to rent. And what is for residential and commercial real estate under? So this is they're tricky. So real estate has very tricky questions. When it's business is UNRRA, the residential civil right act A. UNRRA. So later if you see business, it says UNRRA. Yeah. Blank involves the restriction of a person to rent or buy a dwelling community in manner that perpetrates segregated housing. Which one is that? So it's one of, so you see all 3 of them. So now it's like confusing, right? Okay, I'll walk you through it. If you guys are restricting a person to seek or buy or rent in a certain community, what am I doing? Telling you don't buy this area. You have to buy that area. Steering. So number 17 is D. 17 is D. Okay. A landlord may not induce or attempt to induce to abstain from offering. So hurry up and sell, or don't go to this, people are moving here. That is blockbusting. So that's A. Okay. Next is a housing intended for solely occupied for 62 years older or a 55 year older is a special project. What's that called? Senior citizen housing project. So that's A. Okay. A. Number 20, a California UNRRA. You guys know this one already. I just mentioned it. So you guys better get this right. Is D. Business. Okay, good. California anti-discriminatory law is enforced for fair employment and housing. Which one is that? Ooh. So here, sometimes a lot of answers have the word in the question. So they're talking about fair employment and housing. So it has to be something with housing. I see what you mean. So both of them are housing, but it is B, fair employment and housing, because we talked about employment and housing, right? So it makes sense that this is a question. So B, the quiz is going to be easy like this. Sorry, but the state test is not this easy. Just FYI. And right now it's pretty easy on the quizzes. It gets harder and harder. It does get harder and harder. So, yes. 22. Blank until added a discriminatory of 1992, it was illegal to exclude minors under the age of 18. I did tell you guys on this which one is for minors. Hopefully you guys remember. But I didn't add the law of the 1992, which I should. I'll change our thing to say this. It was easier. But if you don't know, family status. Family status is the one where I said, remember, you cannot not rent to someone because they have kids. Yeah, I mentioned that. I forgot to emphasize it. It's family status. Yeah, so you know what? I'm gonna write a thing on here to remember to add the family status, star it, and add this into the slides. Okay. We are number 23. Blank overseas and blank is policies that are not openly discriminatory but can result in discriminatory effects. D is correct. Implicit, the one that I said I put all my advertising in a certain target person, then yeah. Number 24, failing to provide financing. That is the third one, red 90. Okay, those are important. 25, blank in the 1947 enactment prohibiting lenders from discriminating against borrowers from protected class is. Ooh, this one, yeah, kind of hard, but is the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. C. Yeah, 20. Yeah, C. So that was one of the last slides that we have. But yeah, so to remember this, it's basically they're talking about lending and discriminatory against lending and borrowers is typically equal credit. Yeah, when it's yeah. A lender may lawfully consider blank when determining a agent's credit worthiness. I don't think I went over this with did I go over this with you guys? I don't think I went over this with you guys. It's the mortgage applicant's age. Okay, so 26 is A. Why? Because if someone's 96-year-old and they want to take a 30-year loan, the lender's gonna say no. If you're 10 years old and want to get a loan, the lender can say no, right? A, okay. Number 27, consumer may request a free copy of the credit report. How often? Every year. Remember I said do it on every one of your birthdays? Yeah. Blank requires lenders to compile and submit home loan origination data to their respective supervisory agencies. No. It's the B, Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. This was actually the second to last slide. Yeah. This is the one where I said they're able to ask you that your age, your race, and all that stuff. So HMDA. Yeah. 29. Printing or publishing of any advertising of the sale or rental property that indicates wrongful discrimination preference is a violation of B. That's correct. Federal Fair Housing Act. Last but not least, Department of Housing Development, HUD, issues guidelines requiring real estate brokers renting to display. What do they want us to display? The fair housing poster. Yep, the one I just have right there. Perfect. That is the first day of class. What time do we end at? 8:33. Sorry, got you guys 3 minutes after, but hopefully, that's not an issue for you guys. If you guys want to read your textbooks, we read this covered chapters 1 to 12. So read chapters 1 to 12 for this week. Okay. Next Monday, 6:30, 8:30, I will see you guys, and email me, call me if you have any other questions. And I'll send you those that want the slides. I can send you the slides also. Okay. Yeah, keep that. Make sure to bring that next week. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. Bye. Bye, everybody online. See you guys.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a great night. See ya.
You too.